Hi, this is Anand, who will be discussing quadratic equations today. Let's see what is quadratic equation and how to solve a quadratic equation, right? So you know already aware of equation. Equation is a statement in which two expressions are on the either side of the equal to sign or equal. So we'll take the quadratic equation. So what we are going to see is quadratic equation. Equation. So it takes the general form ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. A should not be equal to 0. I'll tell you, I'll explain this, right? And A, B, C are numbers. A is the coefficient of x squared, B is the coefficient of x, and C is the constant. And degree of the equation, the highest power. What is the highest power? Is 2, x squared, right? The highest power is 2. So the number of solutions is also 2. A should not be 0. So why should not be A 0? If A is 0, what will happen? The first term will be gone, right? The first term is removed. So you get Bx plus C is equal to 0, which becomes a linear equation, right? So you cannot have A equal to, not A is equal to 0, you cannot have. B equal to 0, you can have. C is equal to 0, you can have. You can have both B and C 0. So that's not an issue. A should not be equal to 0. So now, methods of solving the equations. Methods. So the form, general form is very important. It should be ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Methods of solving. There are 4 methods here. We are going to see only the first 2 methods. First one is a factor method. Second one is the formula method. Third one is the completing by square method. And the last one is the graphical method. Graphical method. So we are going to see the first 2 method, which is factor and the formula method. Okay. So you have to know the basically the general form of quadratic equation. You should know that A should not be equal to 0. Right? And what are the methods of solving? Factor method, you can solve quadratic equations. You can solve by formula method, or by completing by square method, or by graphical method. Right? So let me take the simple examples on quadratic equations. So we'll take the first equation. Let x squared plus 17x plus 72 equal to 0. Or you can take x squared plus 5x plus 6 equal to 0. You can solve this equation by factor method and formula method. We'll do both. Okay. Fine. Now you take the values of a, b, c so that it will be easy for you. B is 5 and c is 6. Right? So for better understanding, I'll put in a different way for you so that it will be easy for you to solve the equations. Okay. It's my method of my way of teaching. So you take the product AC. Product is equal to A times C, which is equal to what? 1 times 6, that is 6. Right? Middle number. is 5 in the equation. I mean the value, the middle number is that is equal to b, which is 5. Middle number, don't take 5x, it's only the coefficient of x, right? This is, you have to take the middle number only when a is 1, right? Okay, so let's solve this. You know the product is 6 and the middle number is 5, so I am treating this 5 as the sum. So sum should be 5 and the product should be 6. So now you take two factors of the product. What is the product? It's 6. You take two factors of the product such that their sum is 5. That is our objective. Any equation, take the product and write the sum. You take two factors of the product such that their sum is should be 5. Here in this case should be the middle number when a is equal to 1. So what I do, now I take factors of 6. What are the two factors of 6? I am taking factor 1, factor 2 and their sum. So 1 and 6 is the factors. Then you have, you also, when you multiply two negative numbers, it is positive, right? Okay, so the factors of 6. So negative 1 and negative 6 also you can write. So the product is 6. So 2 and 3, negative 2 and negative 3. So in this case, when you take the sum, the first one is 7. The second sum, negative 1 minus 7 is negative 7. The next one is 5. And the next one is negative 5. So the matching sum is what? The matching sum, the middle number, that is sum, is the value of b is 5. So the matching sum is 5. So the product is 6 and the sum is 5. Right? So what I do here is the matching factors are 2 and 3. Right? So what you take the quadratic equation now. I'm telling you how to solve it. Now the middle value 5x is, you split it into two parts, 2x and 3x, because the factors are 2 and 3, the matching factors. So 2x plus 3x plus 6 is equal to 0. Now what you do is you divide this equation into two parts now. The first part, 2 terms, and the second part, 2 terms. Now I take the common here, x. This is a distributive value, right? A distributive property. You apply distributive property. I take x for the first two factors, first two terms, x times x plus 2. So you get x squared plus 2x. Plus for the second split, you take 3 as common. So x plus 2. So you now have what common in both? X plus 2 is common, right? So you take x plus 2 as common. And inside you will have x plus 3 is equal to 0. Now you have either x plus 2 equal to 0 or x plus 3 equal to 0. Right? So if x plus 2 is equal to 0, now you can solve using linear equations. You get x is equal to negative 2 or x is equal to negative 3. These are the solutions. So x should be negative 3 or negative 2 for the equation to be balanced. Right? Now, what is meant by solution? The solution is when you plug in the solution in the quadratic equation, it should be balanced. Now, if you plug in the value of x as negative 2 or negative 3 in that equation, you will get 0. Right? Let's cross check. So how to cross check? X squared, that is negative 2 the squared, plus 5 times negative 2 plus 6. It should be 0, right? So negative 2 the whole square is 4 minus 10. 5 times negative 2 is minus 10 plus 6. So 10 minus 10 is 0. So for negative 2 it holds good. For negative 3, so negative 3 the whole square plus 5 times negative 3 plus 6. So which is 9 minus 15 plus 6, which is 15 minus 15, which is equal to 0. Only these two are the solutions. You cannot have any other values, right? So how do you solve the quadratic equation? You take the values of A, B, C from the equation. You calculate the product to be A times C, which then you calculate the sum, that is the middle number, that is B. Okay. Now you take the two factors of the product. Now you choose which of those factors, when you add, you will get the sum. So they are the pair, they are the factor pair. For the rest, you don't get the sum, right? For those which you get, which there is a match, right? The product and sum should be equal to what you have calculated earlier. You have to choose and you have to solve the equation. So you have to split the middle term of the equation and then you solve it, right? So it's very simple, right? Now, before going into the formula method, I'll first give you another example of this using a negative number, because all are positives here, x squared plus 5x plus 6. Let there be a negative sign, right? Right, I hope you understood. Now we'll move on to the next problem, that is x squared minus 2x minus 24 equal to 0. No need to be panicked when there is a negative, right? You take the product. A times C. So negative 1 times negative 24, that is equal to negative 24. And the middle number, which is B. B is equal to the sum. I take it as a sum, which is equal to negative 2. The value of B is negative 2. You should not omit the negative sign. Sometimes people make mistakes. They'll just remove the negative and put B, 2 as the, they'll see only the number. They may not see the sign. So you have to be very careful about the sign. When there is a sign, you have to take the sign along with the number. So now you have to choose two factors of 24. I told you negative 24. Our product is negative 24. So I have just two factors of negative 24. And I have the sum here. So what are the two factors of negative 24? I'll write 1 and negative 24 can be the factors, or negative 1 and 24 can be the factors. 2 and negative 12, or negative 2 and 12. Then you have 3 and negative 8. So, or negative 3 and 8. You can have 4 and negative 6, or negative 4 and 6. Out of these, okay, you have to choose the pair where the sum is negative 2. So you have only one pair here where the sum is negative 2. You can see I have circled it, I have made a rectangle there. So 4 minus 6 is negative 2. The rest of the pairs, when you add, it won't be negative 2. Right? So these are the two pairs. I mean, this is the pair. So what I do is I take the equation. Now I split the middle term using the pairs. Right? Using the pair 4 and negative 6, I split the middle term. So it's x squared plus 4x minus 6x minus 24 equal to 0. Or you can write x squared minus 6x plus 4x. There is no necessity that you have to write 4x first and negative 6x second. So you can do that. So now I split it into two, right? First and second. So I take the first split. So x times x plus 4. So minus 6 times x plus 4. So when you distribute it, you will get the above one. Negative 6x minus 24. Negative 6 times x is negative 6x. Minus 6 times positive 4 is negative 24. That is equal to 0. Now you have a common x plus 4. Right? You take it outside. So inside will be x minus 6. That is equal to 0. So x plus 4 equal to 0. Or x minus 6 equal to 0. So you get x is equal to negative 4 or 6. Right? Okay. Now, suppose if the solutions are given and if you are asked to find the equation. Now equation is given, you found the roots. Now root is given. The solution, root means it's solution. Roots of the equation, solutions of the equations are same. So the roots are given. X is equal to -4 and x is or 6, -6 or 6. Sorry. So now what you do is there are two solutions here. Now the general form is x squared minus sum of roots, sum of solutions or sum of roots plus sum of roots times x. Don't forget the multiply. Don't forget to multiply by x plus product of the roots equal to 0. This is the formula. X squared minus sum of the roots x plus product of the roots. What is the sum of the roots? Sum of the roots is -4 plus 6. Okay, so it's 2x plus product of the roots plus -4 times 6 is -24 equal to 0. You can see the equation on the top. It's the same equation. So when the equation is given, you can find the roots. If when the roots are given, you can find the equation. Right? It's very simple, right? You take the factors and factors of the product and check if their sum is equal to the sum that we have calculated on the top. That's it, and solve the equation. Right. Now let's take the same equation and solve using the formula method. Right? So formula method is very simple. Okay? It's only using the formula, but you have to be very careful in the formula method. We may tend to make mistakes by calculating. Right? So x squared minus 22x formula method. The above one is the factor method. This the earlier one. This is the formula method. See, formula method is very simple. You see now, it's ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0 is the equation general form. So x, you have to calculate x, right? It's -b plus or minus. Plus or minus means one will be plus and the other one will be minus. Square root of b squared minus 4ac by 2a. There are three conditions here. If b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, the roots that you get real and equal. Right? The roots are real. What is real? It can be integer, it can be fraction, it can be decimal, anything, right? Those are real numbers. And equal. Sorry, unequal. Be very careful. It's unequal. If b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, right? The roots are real and unequal. If b squared minus 4ac, first condition. Second condition is b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0, the roots are real and equal. So using b square minus 4ac, you can easily say that whether the roots are, you can decide whether the roots are same or different, real and equal. Third condition is, if b squared minus 4ac, there is a negative number under the square root, right? If it is less than 0, the roots are imaginary. We need not see the third one. Now, for now, we need not see the third one. Imaginary numbers are 1. You get a complex number because when there is a negative under the square root, you will get an imaginary number, a complex number. Right? So we'll see the equation now. X squared minus 2x minus 24 equal to 0. So this b square minus 4ac is called as discriminant. Discriminant. If discriminant is greater than 0, the roots are real and unequal. If the discriminant is equal to 0, the roots are real and equal. If discriminant is less than 0, the roots are imaginary. So I've given the equation now. Now we'll take the a, always write down the a values, b values and c values. Directly don't write the formula and just use it because we may tend to make mistakes. So b is equal to a is equal to 1, b is equal to -2 and c is equal to -24. Right? So x is equal to -b. So negative of -2. See, negative b, negative within parentheses because b is negative 2 again. So negative 2 plus or minus square root of b squared, that is negative 2 the whole square, minus 4 times a is 1, c is negative 24. That's why I'm saying you have to be very careful with the negative numbers. We may tend to make mistakes while writing. So, right, so negative 24 divided by 2a, 2 times a is 1. So that is equal to negative, negative of negative 2 is plus 2, plus or minus square root of 4, plus 4, plus 24 times 4. Negative 4 times negative 24 is plus 96 divided by 2. So you get 2 plus or minus square root of 100 divided by 2. Right? And now that is equal to 2 plus square root of 100 is 10. So 2 plus 10 divided by 2 or 2 minus 10 because it's b plus or minus, right? So 2 plus 10 by 2, 2 minus 10 by 2. So what do you get? You get here 10, 2 plus 10 is 12. 12 by 2 is 6, or 2 minus 10 is negative 5. Negative 5 by 2 is, sorry, negative 8. Negative 8 by 2 is negative 4. Right, you get 6 or negative 4. This is the solution. They are called as the roots of the equation. Very simple. Right? Now we can easily make an factorize it. Say if you want to factorize it, what you do is take the opposite of the roots, opposite sign of the roots. Opposite sign of the roots is what? Negative 6 and 4. So you attach it with x. So x times negative 6 times x minus 6 times x plus 4 equal to 0. So this becomes an equation now. So when you solve it, it becomes x squared minus 2x minus 24 equal to 0. So this is actually factorization. So x minus 6 times x plus 4 equal to 0. It is factorization. You need to factorize. See, when you got the solution, you can attach the opposite sign of the solutions to x. Right, then you will get equal to 0. That is the factors, right, of the equation. Factors of the equation, right? This is very simple, right? So you know how to solve using the formula method. Now we will see one more example on that, and we'll stop with this. And it's x squared plus 5x plus 6 equal to 0. So it's very simple. It's you have to take the value of a is equal to 1, b is equal to 5, and c is equal 5, and c is equal to 6. There is no negative sign. It's very simple now. So x is equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac by 2a. In the previous example, you saw that it's under the square root of 100, right? Square root of 100. 100 with b square, discriminant is 100, which is not 0. So discriminant is 100 in the previous example. So so the roots are real and unequal. That's why we got 6 and negative 4. Right? If the roots are equal, the roots you can see that both will be equal. So divided by 2a. So you have to write down my negative 5 plus or minus square root of b squared. B squared is what? 5 squared, which is 25, minus 4 times a times c. So 4 times 1 times 6, which is 24, divided by 2 times 1. So that is equal to negative 5 plus or minus 1 square root of 1 divided by 2. So that is equal to negative 5 plus square root of 1 is 1 by 2, or negative 5 negative minus 1 by 2. So that is equal to negative 5 plus 1, that is negative 4. Negative 4 by 2 is negative 2, or negative 6 by 2, that is negative 3. Right? These are the solutions. Now, if you have to factorize it, you just attach the opposite sign of those solutions to x. So you get x plus 2 times x plus 3 equal to 0. So when you distribute it, it becomes x squared plus 5x plus 6 is 0. So this is how you solve the equations, quadratic equations. We have seen the factor method and formula method. Okay. We'll also see how to solve using the completing square and by using the factor method in one of the next videos, right? Okay, thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.